So if you go back 10 years, co-ops and mutuals had some specific peak or representative bodies for their own industry, but there was no organisation representing the whole of the cooperative and mutual sector. So some passionate people, CEOs of CBH and Capricorn and Melina Morrison, decided that this unmet need for the whole of the sector could be filled. And so they formed BCCM. So look, these were heady days, and I think the best I could liken it to is BCCM was like a startup. So there was Melina. Then there was one other staff member, so there's only 2 people. And then it was, well, where are we going to house people? So one of the members gave free accommodation to BCCM. And then it was, okay, who's going to do the legal work and accounting work that's necessary in any organisation? Another member provided those free. The 2 organisations that started it obviously were founding members, but we needed more than 2. And so it was one of the CEOs of those organisations went around spruiking the value of BCCM membership. And then that got fairly quickly to 10 members, and so suddenly we had something to build on. I think the biggest milestone is achieving this 10th year, not simply because it's an anniversary, but because what's been achieved in that 10 years. The MCI's Mutual Capital Instruments has been a game changer, a lot of really good work around ESG and community of practices. And I think the other big one is the mutual value measurement, which 6 years ago didn't exist and is now starting to get profile, not only in Australia but overseas. I think there's been significant change in the 10 years in terms of the cooperative and mutual sector profile and the understanding of key decision makers of both the sector and BCCM that really wasn't there 10 years ago.
Particularly Greg. So Melina Morrison.
Thank you very much, Treasurer.
So I do think there needs to be a focus on revitalising the economy, not just to put it back where it was in 2019. And strikingly, cooperatives and mutuals are really well placed to do all of those things.
It's really raised the profile of cooperatives and mutuals. And then it's also grown. It's grown to over 100 members in that period. There are startups in the sector, new co-ops through the Bunya Fund, funded by members. There is the substantial grants that have been won from the federal government. So in a lot of areas, BCCM and its members have contributed to growing the sector.
We have the BCCM and Melina kicking goals day after day in Canberra.
The government and bodies such as AICD and others institutions now only occasionally need to be reminded that there is more to the economy than private government and charities. Since 2013, it's been much easier for all of us to explain and to give context to the mutual companies that we represent.
Ultimately, if you look at most of the cooperative and mutual sector, they are representing or looking after average Australians, more so than a privately owned company or shareholder company can. And it's important that not only do our member organisations stay connected with those Australians, but that BCCM does. And if we do that well, we will clearly be differentiated and seen as championing the cause of the average Australian.